Welcome back to the I Pick Passion podcast, a podcast that helps you find your passion, explore your passion, dive into your passion, be passionate about your passion and what you're passionate about. Okay, so we know the name of the podcast, right? We got the name, but you're probably wondering, okay, so I hear you, but what if I don't know what my passion is? What if I don't know how to find my passion? What if I don't know how to identify my passion? I got you. I got you. And today's episode will be diving deep into this topic that so many of us struggle with. So if you've ever felt lost or unsure about what truly excites you, this episode is for you. Identifying your passion is the first step to living a fulfilling life, which we have discussed before, that when you're not living the life that you desire, the life that you wanted, the life that you see for yourself or have seen for yourself, if you have ever seen it for yourself, you're not going to be as fulfilled. Life is short. And I've also heard life is short, but life is also long. So it's definitely worth, it's too long and it's too short to not be doing the thing, right? The thing, which we've talked about, the things that fulfill us, right? In this lifetime. So it's not just about finding what you love, but understanding what fuels you every single day. Why do I wake up? God wakes me up first and foremost. Let's start there. But we all have a purpose. We all have things and gifts and things that make us happy. We all have things that drive us. We have a motivation every day. What is it that motivates you? If you've ever asked yourself that, if you haven't, ask yourself, what motivates you? So I would like to share a story about myself. I remember a time when I was completely lost. I was in a job that drained me. I couldn't see a clear path ahead. I knew I wanted more, but I didn't know what that more was, right? So we've all been there before. I'm sure we've all had that job that literally you're like, man, why? It pains you to pull into the parking lot. You know, you're like, why am I here? Like, why am I here? Why do I keep pulling up? Why do I keep showing up every day? Why do I keep showing up here? Well, one, I need a paycheck. Amen. I need a paycheck. I need to work because I have responsibilities, but it sucks that I have to be here, right? And a lot of us, we often get comfortable too. You know, we get comfortable in that rut because it's cozy. It's cozy in the sense that we complain and we're mad and we're like, oh. You know, you feel this feeling every time you pull up. It's so daunting to walk inside the building. Been there, done that. But yet you're comfortable until you are uncomfortable, until you get tired of being tired and you've had enough. And you're like, no, I know that there's more for me. Like, I know that there is more for me. And you have to get to a place and a point where you're like, no, this is not it. And for me, I've always really known, I think I've always known what my passion was. I always knew as a kid, which I believe I talked about this in the introduction, but I always knew that I loved writing. I loved entertainment. I was always into stories, people's stories, like their lives, what, like the behind the scenes. Like the surface is like, yeah, the surface is cool, but let's get deeper. And that could also be the Scorpio in me because I like to get deeper. I like deep conversations. I like to peel back layers. I don't want to just know what's on the surface, right? So that could be the Scorpio in me, but I always knew that I loved entertainment though. I was huge and really big in entertainment. Was a huge fan of entertainment, writing, right? So naturally, I ended up being a journalist. I became a journalist, and that was very fulfilling. You know, telling stories, writing, you know, and I've had periods in my life where I was really doing the things. And then I had periods in my life where responsibility took over. And so that period of time that I'm talking about when I was going to my job every day and I was not fulfilled, that was the period of time where I was just working. I was just paying bills, working paycheck to paycheck, just paying bills, doing what I had to do versus what I really wanted to do. And there were periods also in my life where I have had a job and then I always had my side hustle. I've always had my passion projects on the side. But then in some ways, I let that go. There were periods where I was just working, but I wasn't doing the things that I really loved. And so you have to figure out what it is that you really want to do. Like, we all have responsibilities. We all have to pay bills, right? Some of us have kids and, families to take care of. I get it. Believe me, I too. And especially when there's a certain lifestyle that you wanna keep, right? You want this lifestyle. Not only do I have bills, but I like this lifestyle, right? I like stability. I get it. I'm like, I'm not doing anything without my stability, right? So I get it, but pursue your passion. Just start. It doesn't mean that it's going to thrive overnight. May not make money overnight, but start it. Let me tell you this. And I feel like I'm, jumping, but I believe that it's all connecting for a purpose here. So I stopped writing. The last time I had written for a publication was in 2019. It was October, November of 2019. Life kind of got like, man, I couldn't commit. I couldn't commit the way that I had committed. So I had to let it go. I had to choose. I was working at the time. I was still working at that job I was talking about, where I was like, I didn't want to be there, but I had to do what I had to do. And that's where I was at that time. But I didn't want to be there. I repeat, I didn't want to be there, but I had to do what I had to do. And I let go of my passion, which was telling stories, interviewing. I let that go for my day-to-day. Years fast forward, now I am starting. You get to a point where you're like, man, I'm missing. There's a part of me, there's a piece of me that's missing. There's a link missing here. And since I have now really stepped into this now creative part, because after that, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do my own. I want to start a platform of my own. I knew that at that time. I said, when I do begin my creative journey again, because it's always been a part of me and it's never gone away. That's that sensation. We'll get there. That burning sensation, that part of you that just won't leave you alone, right? That's how you know what you're passionate about. And I know I'm passionate about creating. And so I said, I'm going to have my own platform. I know I want to. I didn't really know which direction I wanted to go, because I know I'm a writer. I can write. It's like, do I want to do a blog? Okay. Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? I played with a couple of ideas. Wanted to get back into creative writing when it came to, maybe try to get into screenwriting, all of that, because I do love creating worlds and characters and all of the things. I am a creator at heart. But then the podcast was birthed. The idea was birthed. And I said, that's it. And then almost now a year ago, well, about 9 months ago, I released a trailer. That was in January of this year, which you all may have listened to already. I released the trailer and I sat on it because I'm a perfectionist to a certain extent. I want it to be so right, every part to be right. And I'm like, you know what, Ericka, just start this thing and everything will work itself out. You have the basics, you have the basics of what you need. You have, okay, we know this, we know that, we got it. We got the foundation. The rest of it, sometimes it's just a learning curve. You learn as you go. Nobody has it all. Give yourself grace. Nobody has it all figured out in the beginning. So I started the thing. And let me tell y'all, since I started podcasting, it's my first time podcasting, but it's still a form of creating. And since I started, I feel so fulfilled, y'all. I feel more fulfilled than I have felt in a very long time. And that was the part that was missing of me. I needed that part. I needed to feel that, y'all. I needed to feel that. And I didn't know it for so long. I was fighting the fact that, like, man, like, what is this feeling? I'm feeling lost. I'm not feeling like me. I've lost that part of myself. And I'm loving her meaning me. I'm loving. Since I am refining her, I'm loving who she is and who she's becoming. So it wasn't until I started asking myself some tough questions and trying out different things that I began to uncover what really, really excites me. And this excites me. Helping people excites me. This journey excites me. Learning to edit. Editing is one of the toughest parts of, different software and figuring what's the best to use and this and that and all these parts of editing video and editing audio and learning how to do it. It's a journey, y'all. It's a journey. Interviewing again, which I had not interviewed since 2019. interviewing again, and the fear of that, not, I'll say fear, not fear, but fear. The anxiety of, oh my goodness, it's been this long. It's a muscle I have not exercised in quite some time. Is it like riding a bike? Am I just going to get back on it and it's just going to come back to me? Oh my goodness. And I have to say, y'all, I believe it's come back to me. It's a natural thing for me to just have conversation. That's my interview style, just a conversation, have fun. I am naturally a bubbly, fun person, right? And I try to give that energy. So it comes across. And so at least I hope that it does. That is who I am, me, because I can only be me. So I say all that to say it's exciting to help people. That is what I am passionate about. It's helping people in the form of creativity. And so that is what I'm doing. For me, the discovery came when I realized how much I loved creating. It wasn't an overnight revelation, but rather a journey of self-discovery. So overnight, I didn't just, know this. This was something that I had to dig deep for. I knew that when I was a kid, I thought back, like, what is it that you have always loved to do? Who is Ericka? Who was young Ericka? Who was she? Don't get lost in this day-to-day, I got to pay bills, I got to do this, I got to do that, because yeah, that's true. Do it, right? Do it. Because we do have to do the things that we have to do regardless sometimes if we want to or not, right? But find the time to pursue your passions. And let me tell you, they say if you're doing what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Now, I can say, I don't know. Yes, that's true. It is true, because it's the fact that it feels so rewarding, right? You feel like you're stepping into, it is work, believe me, but it's worth the work because you're doing what you love to do. So it's worth every second. It's worth the late nights. It's worth the tired mornings. It's worth that. So you got to figure out what that thing is that is worth it to you. And there are several myths. I know y'all have heard the myths. We've all heard them before. You only have one passion. You only have one passion. Many people believe they have to find that one true passion. But the reality is you can have multiple passions throughout your life. So, for instance, what I just told you about myself, I know that I am passionate about helping people in a form of creativity. I have created in many different forms. Not only have I been a podcaster. This is the first time I've ever podcasted before, but I have written before. I've written for publications, long form. I've done all the things. I've had a blog of my own. I have done radio before. It wasn't my own show, but I have created in that way. I've helped production. I've done all forms of media and a lot of in communications. It was all entertainment. It was all the form of creating. Regardless of how you look at it, it is creating. And I do believe that creativity helps people. I believe that entertainment is an escape for many people. So you're helping people every day as a creator. You're helping someone get through their day to day. You're helping someone escape from their reality. You're helping someone, whether or not you know it, you are helping someone. And so that is helping through creativity. So not only, you don't have to have one passion, like, oh, I'm just going to do radio and that's all that I'm passionate about. No, you can be passionate about writing. You can be passionate about poetry. You could be passionate about so many different things. Nursing, helping people, acting. I'm doing improv right now. That's theater. Like I'm passionate about that. It's still creating. I'm creating characters. I am making things up. It's what I love to do. So don't ever get it twisted. You do not have to have just one thing that you are passionate about. Don't let anybody tell you that or tell you different. We've also heard passion is instant and it's obvious. That's another myth. That'll just hit you one day. Often it takes time, exploration, and experimentation to figure out what you're truly passionate about. Not everyone knows right off. Some people go their whole lives without realizing or without knowing. Or sometimes it's right under your thumb. It's right there and you don't even see it. So it takes time. It takes digging. It takes awareness. Don't expect that it's just going to happen and it's just going to fall in your lap. Not always does it do that. But I will say this. If you ever think about when you were a kid, because I'm a firm believer that children show you. You just have to pay attention. So when you think back of yourself as a child, what was it that you actually enjoyed doing? If you ever realize, what did you do more of when you were younger? What is it what kind of person, who were you as a kid? I do believe that is a reflection of who you will or won't become as an adult. I honestly do believe that. So that's just a tip from me. I don't know how helpful that is, but think about that. Truly think about that. Truly think about it. So passion equals profession. We hear that one too, right? People often think that your passion has to be your job, but your passion can be something you pursue outside of work, or it can be something that enriches your life in other ways. So not everybody has to make a profession or has to do what they're passionate about full time. Not everybody desires to do it full time, but it's still something that gives you joy. So maybe you have a full time job during the week, but on the weekend, you're passionate about helping at the nursing home. You enjoy doing that. That fulfills you on the weekend. That fulfills your life. It enriches your life by helping at the nursing home, helping the older community. I can see how that could be fulfilling. I could see that. You enjoy reading to them, but you don't want to make a full-time career of this because you have a full-time job. But that little piece is enough to fulfill your life. And if that is it for you, then that is it for you. This is all about doing something in your life that gives you fulfillment. It doesn't have to be full-time. When I speak about pick your passion, I pick passion, right? Picking your passion, it does not have to be the way that you might envision that, like she's saying this. No, I'm not saying that you have to do this full time. I'm not even saying what it is that you have to do. This is a podcast that is for creatives, more or less, right? Geared towards creatives, I would say, because I'm a creative. So I'm also inspired by other creatives, by fellow creatives, and I hope that you can also be inspired too. So you'll hear a lot about creatives, but this is not just for creatives. And it doesn't mean that you have to do this full time. It doesn't mean that I'm saying that you have to pick your passion and quit your job today and go out here and pursue your passion. No. That's not what I'm saying at all. But pick what it is in your life that makes you passionate and do that in whatever capacity you can do it at this time, or whatever capacity that you choose or feel that gives you fulfillment in your life. I'm not telling you how to do that. So there are a couple of exercises that can help you identify your passion. One is, as I mentioned before, reflect on childhood joys. I just mentioned that. What was it that made you happy as a child? Think back to when you were a child. What did you love doing? Sometimes our passions are rooted in the activities that brought us joy in our younger years. So what was it that you were passionate about? What is it that you realized that you love to do? That can help you identify what it is. Exercise 2 is the flow test. Identify the activities that make you lose track of time. When you're completely absorbed in something, that's a strong indicator of passion. So what is it that you can get lost in? It might be reading a book. So what is it that you could do? Maybe start a book club. I don't know. Maybe that could give you fulfillment. You know, if you love reading a book and you get lost in that, and time is like, you look up and you're like, wait, oh my God, I'm almost late for work. I woke up at 5 o'clock. I got to be to work at 9, and I've been reading almost for 3 hours. I got to go to work. That, my dear, could be your passion. So you have to figure out if that is yours. Exercise 2, passion inventory. Make a list of things you love to do, even if they seem trivial. Then see if there's a pattern or theme. Make a list of what you love to do. It could be small, doesn't have to be big. Just make a list and pick up on the pattern. Okay, well, these relate. I said like 5 things that have something to do. They all are relative. That could very well be your passion. Exercise 4, envision your ideal day. So we kind of touched on this as well. Visualize your perfect day from start to finish. What activities are you doing? How do you feel? This can give you clues to your passion. What does the ideal day look like for you? Not going to necessarily a job that you don't want to get out of the parking lot to go to, because maybe we've all had those jobs, right? That we just like, I just really don't want to get out of this car to go in here. So, but what would your ideal day be aside from that? Because we know that's not it. What would your ideal day look like? And that will tell you what you're passionate about. So I encourage you to take some time after this episode to try out these exercises. Don't rush it. Let the answers come to you naturally. And let me know in the comments if you know your passion, if you are interested in identifying your passion, if these exercises actually worked. Let me know. I love to hear. So it's important to distinguish between passion and skills. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean it's your passion. Because we're good at a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that that's what I mean, you could be good at cooking, but you may not be passionate about cooking like enough that you want to actually be a chef. Like, I know how to cook and we surviving here. We're not starving. My family's not starving. I know how to cook. I'm skilled at that. I learn from the best. However, I'm not passionate about this. This is not what I'm passionate about. I do not want to spend hours and hours and hours doing this aimlessly. No. I don't. So that wouldn't be what you're passionate about. That's a skill. While they're different, skills can complement your passion. So, for example, if you're passionate about music but skilled in technology, maybe music production is your path. Once you identify your passion, think about the skills you need to develop to pursue it further, because skills do help and you need skills. So think about the skills that you need to develop to pursue it further. So today we covered the importance of identifying your passion. We debunked some myths and we walked through some practical exercises to help you on your journey. Remember, discovering your passion is a journey, not a destination. It's okay if you don't have all the answers right now. Keep exploring and be patient with yourself. In our next episode, we'll be talking about overcoming obstacles that stand in the way of pursuing your passion. It's going to be an inspiring discussion, so be sure to tune in. And thank you for listening to I Pick Passion. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It really helps the podcast grow and reach more people. You can also follow us on social media for updates and more content. I love to hear from you. What did you think about today's episode? What are your thoughts on identifying your passion? Drop me a message or comment on social media. Check out the show notes for links to the exercises we discussed today, along with other helpful resources. Be passionate.